Hello, BookTube. I've got another little mail haul for you here. Just 4 packages, no boxes, but still could be interesting, right? Still could be lots of fun. We don't have to have a million packages for it to be fun. Let's see what the first one is. Light as a feather. Let's see what we've got here. Oh, it's a novel. It's an upcoming novel. It's a 2020 book, and it is called Creatures, and it's by Chrissy Van Meter. Creatures. I've got a creature right over my shoulder. What have we got here? This is a debut. Fantastic. Isn't that wonderful? Okay, so in January, early January, we get a debut novel called Creatures. And this has an enthusiastic recommendation from Lenny Zumas, who wrote Red Clocks. A lot of you read that book. Let's see here. The author is a former surf editor at ESPN and a Southern California native. And in this book, she deftly weaves her family history and deep California roots into an atmospheric novel set on the fictional Winter Island. She follows her protagonist, Evie, as she questions her love, her family, and her past on the night of her wedding, and through her ultimately captures the spirit of wild California, as well as her own volatile relationship with an alcoholic father, to create a story that Bustle, whatever that is, has already called a lyrical literary debut that you'll want on your TBR when it comes in stores next winter. Interesting. All right, so this is, in other words, this is already getting buzz. Fantastic. Okay. Okay, so it has an enthusiastic recommendation from Lenny Zumas, who wrote Red Clocks, which I didn't like. And it also has a cover blurb by Melissa Broder, who wrote The Pisces, which I not only didn't like, but which was absolute dog crap. So we'll have to hope that this author isn't... I mean, you never know. Those people might not have read the book, or maybe books appeal to them different from the books they end up writing. All right. Well, let's see what the next one is here. Bean, could you get your head out of your butt? Bean, there you go. All right. This next one is a finished copy from the folks at Harvard University Press. This is a September book. Comes out any day now. This is by John Danaher, and it's called Automation and Utopia: Human Flourishing in a World Without Work. A world without work. Some of us who are of an age have heard that before. There will never be a world without work. Let's see here. Automating technologies threaten to usher in a workless future, but this can be a good thing if we play our cards right. Well, I'm not in favor of this work business anyway. I think all of you work way too hard. Human obsolescence is imminent. Can you believe it? The factories of the future will be dark, staffed by armies of tireless robots. The hospitals of the future will have fewer doctors, depending instead on cloud-based AI to diagnose patients and recommend treatments. And who's going to implement those treatments? There is no such thing as a hospital without an army of sarcastic nurses, nor will there ever be. The homes of the future will anticipate our wants and needs and provide all the entertainment, food, and distraction we could ever desire. To many, this is a depressing prognosis, an image of civilization replaced by its machines. But what if an automated future is something to be welcomed rather than feared? Work is a source of misery and oppression for most people, so shouldn't we do what we can to hasten its demise? It's also a source of money for them, which they use to exchange for goods and services, like food. Automation and utopia makes the case that for a world in which, free from need of or want, we can spend our time inventing and playing games and exploring virtual realities that are more deeply engaging and absorbing than any we have experienced before, allowing us to achieve idealized forms of human suffering. Okay, who gets the money? Who earns the money? While you're playing games and perfecting yourself, where is your money coming from? To pay for your rent or your mortgage, to pay for your land, to pay your taxes, to pay for your food and your children's education. Where is that money coming from if you eliminate work? The idea that we should give up and retreat to the virtual may seem shocking, even distasteful. But the author urges us to embrace the possibilities of this new existence. Okay, well, this is September 24th. Is it the date on it? And that is, for an academic press, that's not going to be hard and fast. That's not an embargo of any kind, which means that I can just jump right in and read this right away. So it goes to the front of the line. We shall see. I confess, and there's no offense meant to the author, and you all know what I mean by this anyway, but I confess I have an extra bit of enthusiasm when I have a feeling that I'm going to argue with an author. There's an extra bit of fun involved in that. Let's see what this next one is. Oh, very nice. Oh, very nice. Okay, this is also early January. This is a biography. I'm starting now. I mean, we're almost done with September, believe it or not. We're almost in October. Victober is almost upon us. And because of that, I'm starting to think about 2020. I'm starting to look now. My collection of 2020 books is no longer, remember when the first time we got one of those, it was a weird thing. Now there's quite a few of them. And I'm starting to look at that and break down. I'm starting to try and see if I can spot trends, even this early. And I don't think I would be lucky enough. A couple of years ago, I had a massive biography trend. Oh my God, it was like bumper crop year for biographies. I could be so lucky as to have that happen again. But this is a biography. This is by Laura Thompson, and it is Life in a Cold Climate, a biography of Nancy Mitford. Wow. Wow. Fantastic. Nancy Mitford was, in the words of her sister, Lady Diana Mosley, very complex. I'm sure that Diana Mosley didn't put it that way. I'm sure that she put it in a letter as very C, period. The whole bunch of them sounded like Bertie Wooster on a bender. But anyway, her highly autobiographical early work, the biographies and novels of her more mature French period, her journalism and the vast body of letters to her family, to friends such as Evelyn Waugh, and to the great love of her life, Gaston Paluski, all tell an intriguing story. Drawing from these, as well as conversations with Mitford's two surviving sisters, acquaintances, and colleagues, prize-winning author Laura Thompson has fashioned a portrait of contradictory and courageous women. Approaching her subject with wit, perspicacity, and huge affection, Thompson makes her serious points lightly, eschewing cliches about the eccentricities of the Mitford clan. Oh, that'll be the day. You're not writing a book about Nancy Mitford and leaving out the cliches of the Mitford family. Please. Your marketing department would take you out behind the barn if you did that. But maybe that means the author is downplaying those, and that would be refreshing. This book is full of the sound of Mitfordian laughter. Oh my, what a way to put it. That is so perfect. Full of the sound of Mitfordian laughter. That sells the book right there for anybody who knows the Mitford sisters. Oh, wow, fantastic. But it also tells the often paradoxical and complex story behind the smiling and ever-elegant facade. And this is the author who just recently wrote a biography of Agatha Christie, A Mysterious Life, that I thought was quite good. Wow, fantastic. Okay. Well, this comes out in early January, and it is a perfect excuse for me to go back to my no reading shelf, no library is complete without a big fat collection of Mitford sister letters. It's maddening to read, but you can't not have such a volume. And there have been a few really good, big, annotated ones. And this gives me a perfect opportunity to go back to them. It also gives me a perfect opportunity to reread all the Nancy Mitford that's in the house before I get this in finished copy. So I'll be ready for it. Okay. I really want to review this for a big audience. All right, so, and then we'll do the last one. This is the last one. It looks like you're boring the bean. So let's see what this next one. Oh, great. All right, this is a finished copy. This is due in October, I believe. Yes, this is a mid-October book. I am hoping to review this as well. This is by Rick McIntyre, and it is called The Rise of Wolf 8, Witnessing the Triumph of Yellowstone's Underdog. This is the finished copy of The Rise of Wolf 8. It comes out in mid-October. Yellowstone National Park was once home to an abundance of wild wolves, but park rangers killed the last of their kind in the 1920s. Decades later, park rangers brought them back, with the first wolves arriving from Canada in 1995. This is the incredible true story of one of those wolves. Wolf 8 struggles at first. He is smaller than the other pups and often bullied, but soon he bonds with an alpha female whose mate was shot. An unusually young alpha male, barely a teenager in human years, Wolf 8 rises to the occasion, hunting skillfully and even defending his family from the wolf who killed his father. But soon he faces a new opponent, his adopted son, who mates with a violent alpha female. Can Wolf 8 protect his valley without harming his protege? Okay, all right. Well, this is that story that the pub sheet that I just narrated from the pub sheet is from Shakespeare. It is not in any way part of the animal world, nor are any of those thoughts or impressions or motivations involved. I'm assuming this is how you have to sell a book like this, and that the book itself will not anthropomorphize quite to that extent. I'm hoping, anyway, that that's the case. So fantastic. A fantastic haul. Just great. So we have The Rise of Wolf 8, mid-October. No, not a September book. Don't have to worry about it right away. Then Life in a Cold Climate. We are getting a biography of Nancy Mitford in 2020. How wonderful is that? Hope it gets reviewed everywhere. And I will do my part. Then Automation and Utopia. The author claiming that automation and machines replacing human work is a good thing. And the author, I mean, obviously I read the pub sheet instead of the book. I will read the book. But the central question that the author has to answer is, what about money? What about money? If you're positing a world in which nobody works, in which factory floors and hospitals are entirely full of robots, what about the people who used to earn the money from those jobs to pay their rent and buy their food? What happens to them? Do they still have the money, or are they dead? Because if they're all dead, that's going to significantly dampen your utopia. And finally, Creatures, a debut novel in 2020. So, can you hear me? I don't know if you can hear me. That's both a traffic jam and a siren. So those are the two 2020 things here. One is a debut novel, which is the thing I love, and the other is a big biography, which is another thing I love. So Steve is pleased. 2020 is right around the corner, if you can believe that. Good Lord, it seems impossible, but nevertheless. That is it. That is our mail haul for today. Some pretty good stuff. I'm going to wrap this up, but I will be back. Thank you, BookTube.